It's obviously been a long day for a lot of Americans, but I'd like to give you an opportunity to address some of your tweets from this morning. You tweeted, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts." How would you know that phrase and not know its racially charged history?
Well, I've heard that phrase for a long time. I don't know where it came from, where it originated. I view that
In
phrase as...
1967, the Miami police
Well, I don't know.
chief
I've also
used it.
heard from many other places, but I've heard it for a long time, as most people have. And frankly, it means when there's looting, people get shot and they die. And if you look at what happened last night and the night before, you see that. It's very common. And that's the way that was meant, and that's the way I think it was supposed to be meant. But I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it originated. I wouldn't know a thing like that. But I will say it's very accurate in the sense that when you do have looting, like you had last night, people often get shot and they die, and that's not good, and we don't want that to happen. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the past, you've criticized NFL players for their protest against police brutality. Given what we've seen with George Floyd and what we saw with the delays in the case of Ahmaud Arbery, does that change your views around those NFL protests? And also, given that you had a message for those in the streets in Minneapolis, do you have a statement to make about the police that are involved in such police brutality incidents?
Yeah, I didn't like what I saw at all. I thought it was a terrible thing, a terrible picture. I think that it's sad in so many ways from the standpoint of the family. When you look at George Floyd and his family and you see what that's done to them, just a terrible thing. He was in tremendous pain, obviously, and couldn't breathe. It was very obvious to anybody that watched it. It was a very, very sad thing for me to see that. We also know that most policemen, you see the great job they do. They do a fantastic job, but this was a terrible insult to police and to policemen. And I know the Justice Department will, as you know, it's a local case, but I know the Justice Department is also looking at it very strongly.
Does that change your views around like the NFL protests?
Say it again, I can't.
Does that change your views around the NFL protests on this issue? They were peaceful protests. Does that change your
Yeah, it
stance on
should
that
be
at
a
all?
peaceful protest. I think really in memory of George Floyd, I think it should be peaceful. It's terrible. He spoke with his family today. Terrific people. I think it's so bad for the memory when you see a thing like that going on, and hopefully that won't happen tonight. And as you know, the National Guard has arrived, and they're there, but hopefully everything will be very different tonight. Last night was very sad on many different levels.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
Mr.
What's
President.
your conversation with the Floyd family after the Rose Garden event? What was the thing you were trying to impress upon them, and did they have a message for you?
Well, I just expressed my sorrow. That was a horrible thing to witness, and I've seen bad things. I've seen many bad things, and that was just a horrible thing to witness and to watch. And it would certainly look like there was no excuse for it.
Mr. President,
Did they have a message for you at all? Did they communicate?
They were grieving very much. Look, it's their brother, and they were grieving, and I could see very much that they loved their brother.
Mr. President, do you believe that there's a problem with police brutality in America? And if you do, what would you do about it?
Well, I think that police brutality certainly is something that we've been hearing about, reading about, studying. I have for many years. And we all have to say, and I think most people would admit, that most of the police men and women that I've seen have been outstanding. When you have something like this happen, you look at it and you just say, how does a thing like that happen? Because it just seems so bad to watch. But our police have been very outstanding. Our crime rates are way down right now in this country, and way down. The police have done a great job. Something like this happens and you really say, that's so bad in so many different ways and so unfortunate.
You see the...
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, Mr. President, it certainly seems like you're sympathetic to some of the frustration expressed by the protesters last night. I want to ask you, first off, do you think there were good people out protesting in Minneapolis last night?
Did you say, were there
good people among the protesters? And then also more broadly, what is your message to Black Americans and others who just are really frustrated and saddened to see another video of a black man being killed in police custody?
Well, certainly there were a lot of different people, and there were good people too, and they were protesting, and they were protesting for the right reason. They were protesting in honor of a man, George Floyd, where something happened that shouldn't have happened, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Certainly something happened that shouldn't have happened. And yeah, you had a lot of people out there that were protesting out of sorrow, and then you had people that got out of control, some people. And they did I think they did a great disservice to their state and to their city and to really our country, what they did last night. And we brought in the National Guard today, and they're there, and that won't happen again. It can't happen again. We can never let that happen again. That was run by the mayor of a city, and it got, in all fairness to him, he was in a tough position, but I don't think they were very well prepared. But we brought in the National Guard. They'll be very prepared tonight. Thank you all very much. Thank you.